I think Christy and I have always, we've always had an interest in art and architecture. I guess we didn't buy the farm knowing where we would go to, and it's been an evolving project. I think, you know, we're stimulated, we travel a lot and look at what other people are doing, and those trips, of course, you know, give us inspiration of what else we can do. And, you know, it's just a joy to be able to share the property with other people, and, you know, to let the creative talent in New Zealand, you know, give them, you know, a platform to be able to do some special things. It was great for them, and we enjoy it, and certainly the public have, you know, come out here, and we do love to see the smiles on people's faces when they walk the property. The relation to sponsors is very important because they provide the mentors. So Naylor Love, one of the sponsors with Rosine, sit around the table, not only choose the successful project, but then interact with the teams and guide them. It's good to be able to share this. Of course, we really do appreciate the financial support of the sponsors, but, you know, they do it not purely for their name. They can see they're adding something into the profession, and they get a lot of enjoyment themselves out of it.
I'm Phillip Haycock. I'm from Naylor Love Construction, who are obviously involved in this sculpture presentation. We're one of the sponsors of this event, and we're very passionate about sponsoring these sorts of things in the community. We're always reaching out into the community as a company. Yes, we are commercial builders, but we spend a lot of time engaging with community and doing a lot of public projects. I'm a design manager and was involved in this project pretty much from the start with the students and a group of other academics who were involved in the team, and it was a good process. I think the students have learned a lot about building, for sure. There is a tendency for these courses still to be a little bit theoretical and not practical enough, and I think this is a fabulous opportunity for them to learn more about not just the building process, but certainly what, you know, we experience as contractors in projects, and how things actually should be going together, and the discipline of all of that and the approach they need to take.
I am Yusuf Patel. I'm the Academic Program Manager for the School of Architecture. I currently help run design build projects at Unitec, and I also help teach Design Studio 3. So it's quite close, right? I was asked by Richard Harris to be a judge for the Brick Bay competition. From there I proceeded to be the design build mentor. So I'd work with the students on how to procure material, to how to fabricate. So, you know, teaching them skills when they need it, providing them with tools and gear and equipment. I would say that majority of students over the past 5 years I've been teaching is that they have a huge amount of learning to do between a digital model and transferring that to building a built artifact. So them understanding how material comes together, how details work, even things like weight is really important. I would say that these students had to go through tremendous amounts of learning just to get to their final outcome. The strength of the design is it's simple. The complexity of the structure, however, comes from the form. So every, I guess, detail or every joint is placed with a different angle. So that was the challenge. But when all of those things come together, it produces a really interesting form, and that form is something that has gone through so many different iterations to get to its final outcome.
Yeah, this is kind of resembles the kind of final design, the spatial quality of it. And yeah, if you look from behind. My name is Leo, and I am studying a combined masters for architecture and urban planning right now. So the brief was to create a pavilion or Folly for Brick Bay. And yeah, after visiting the site, it kind of naturally came to this concept of kind of acknowledging the neglected elements in our everyday lives. And what we picked was to acknowledge kind of the timber elements in our ordinary structures of our domestic houses, and how can we kind of bring that to the surface, and kind of how can they express themselves in a different way, in a different setting, like the sculpture park. Yeah, again, the idea was to explore the kind of ordinary timber studs, the 90 by 45 mil studs. So it kind of began with a lot of physical modeling, physical model making, and through those kind of iterations and exploration, we kind of arrived at a spatial quality that we were happy with, and that was then went into the digital modeling and then into the final concept that was submitted for the competition. It makes a reference to the kind of vertical and horizontal rigid structure of our domestic houses. By at one end, it begins at a horizontal plane and slowly makes its journey to the end. And what it kind of aims to do is explore the three-dimensional nature of architecture, where the walls are not quite straight and the roofs kind of becomes the wall at the end. So it kind of explores that element and creates these different spaces within this given space.
Personally, I think we've gained an exposure to the amount of planning that's needed, especially when it comes to talking with architects and engineers, sorting out how transport works, where we're going to take building materials to different sites to assemble, and a lot of the on-spot thinking, figuring out what we're going to do where, has been quite challenging, and I think what we've learnt a lot is a lot of planning skills.
We asked them to do was to break the structure down into its components and find the ways of building it based on sort of a step-by-step process. And I love it. It's fabulous shape. It's very unusual. You can interpret it in many different ways. Like you've said, it's a samurai hat might be one interpretation, but you know, a boat up on a ramp, or all manner of different interpretations could come into play. And I think that's what's very successful about it too. You know, that people will see it like that.
Oh, the enjoyable part of it was working with the lads. I think we're a really good team, and we've really kind of built a lifetime friendship. I've learnt a lot, so it's been a really big learning curve.
Yeah, that's going to be easy. And then
it's been amazing. Learned a lot. You know, when you look at buildings and stuff, it's not as easy as you think it may come together and all that stuff. Yeah. Putting everything and like all your heart and blood, sweat and tears just into the building itself. Yeah.
Mine's of like changing.
It was a great team. The guys are good guys. They know what they're doing. You know, they pulled it off. It's amazing.
I think that, you know, certainly watching their careers afterwards, all of the 5 groups, we've have all of the participants that ended up with very good jobs, and I think that in their CVs, as they're interviewed by the leading architectural firms, they're able to share their experience of the Folly as part of their general experience, and they are more mature and able to participate in complex architectural projects at an earlier stage in their careers because of this experience.
It's amazing for all of you to be here to celebrate this special moment with us, because building that thing was not easy. And when Yusuf mentioned earlier all the challenges, they kind of just all hit me, because there were so many of them, and it will be different for each one of us too. So I feel very privileged, I'm very grateful, and I sincerely thank you all, because this would not have been possible without your support, without the help from so many different people.
Talent like this, the future is in good hands. Thank you everybody for coming. Please pass the word to everybody. Come and get your friends to come and enjoy it. Now, there are copies of the architecture. Nathan, thank you so much for your ongoing support. And 3 copies of the magazine for everybody. Great memories, and have a great night. Drive carefully. Thank you.